Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today I'm just doing an NW opening for the Survivor Series Becky Lynch figure. It's got a little rip in the back of the box there. We will need to get her out of there. It's not a hospitable environment. As we can see, we've got the full wave there. Normally I say there's not too much of interest there, but I bought the entire wave, so it must be alright. And we get Rick Rude's arms with it as well. We got no information or anything on the back. We just got a picture of Becky holding the women's title. That does not come with this figure. Now, I'm not a massive fan of Becky. I don't really care for Becky one way or the other, but it never hurts to get some cheap extra ladies around for the DSW women's division. And quite frankly, I actually think this head is really good. I don't particularly care for the man character. I don't particularly care for this outfit, but this head is really quite good. And I guess these bodies are probably quite useful for customs. I mean, if you can get these things off the knees, that is. I have no idea how that's attached, but I suppose we'll work that out later. But I'm waffling on a bit already, and we got 3 figures to open, so let's get into it. But first of all, as I say, we're going to be building a Rick Rude, so we need to bring out his legs. Let's also bring out Drew. Let's not have him feel left out. Okay, so let's get cracking on with the figure. So, first things first. Like I said with the Drew McIntyre opening, I quite like this Survivor Series backing card. It's actually pretty nice. We've got the 2 interchangeable hands with a tiny bit of miscut plastic on the end of both of them. And we got Rick Rude's arms, and it occurs to me that I really should have opened this in the order of building the Rick Rude. And I didn't really realise that the Builder figures don't have double jointed elbows. I guess it doesn't really matter, but you know, kind of an L. So we've got Rick Rude's arms and legs there. On the note of double jointed elbows, I actually think this might be my first women's figure with double jointed elbows. I don't pick up a lot of them, and I definitely don't pick up a lot of modern ones, so I think it is. Now, there's a reason why I've paused her hand resting against the head as we come into the joint check, and that is because this shoulder is not good. Luckily, I've been playing around with shoulders recently and loosening stiff shoulders recently, and it is a fairly straightforward process, so we should be able to fix that up. In fact, I might do a little video on that. It's fairly straightforward, it's fairly obvious, but you know, I feel like it might be worth doing a video on anyway. As I say, you know, I feel like the head is the standout of the figure, but I mean, I don't feel like this was a particularly interesting outfit in the first place. It was always a kind of weird outfit for Becky to come out in, but I also feel like it hasn't translated into figure form very well. It's literally just red. The fishnets are kind of jazz it up a little bit, but it really is the head that's the standout for me. That's a pretty good likeness. It's a good expression and everything. And now we'll get into the joint check. As I say, this shoulder is just fucked. The swivel is fine, that elbow seems nice and tight, and the wrist is pretty good. Going over to the other side, this shoulder seems to be fine. It's a little bit, it's nice and stiff, that's good. We've got a very stiff elbow there, that's pretty nice. Normally I'll go from the top down, but I couldn't resist starting with that terrible shoulder. But the head's okay. It's not great, but it's better than the next joint, which you might have noticed as I've been going along. This is appallingly loose. This is terrible. This is ridiculous. The good thing about that is there is a fix for that. I can just, you know, take a loom band and put it over her and then basically work it into there and fix that up. Not great, is it, straight out of the packaging. And it doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence that, you know, I actually will keep hold of this figure, because if filming with it is going to be a pain, then I probably will just chuck it on eBay for whatever I can get for it. And let's take a look at some legs. So that moves fine. That knee is quite stiff because of that knee pad that really reinforces it. You definitely can take these off for customs, by the way. It's just a regular knee pad. I'm not going to do the thigh swivel. But we got the hip and the knee are fine there. The boot swivel is good, and when do you ever move the toes, really? But It does move, so that's better than some. Again, everything fine on that leg. It's really just this dodgy shoulder and this appalling ab joint. That's the issue there, I would say. I normally, of course, finish off these NWO openings by talking about what the figures are going to do in my Fed. So I'll just sum that up now by saying I don't really have any particular plans for any of these. I am buying these for the sake of it. I am buying these for the sake of it, for the Build-A-Figure parts, really. I like to give a little bit of a review, but usually it's quite positive because I bought the figure for a reason. In this instance, I can be quite fair and say that the head scan on this is really good, but the rest of it doesn't do an awful lot for me. Although there are some perks to it that are quite interesting. This actual example of the figure itself is, the joints are just not great. That's not the figure's fault. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it happens sometimes with the way the game goes. So I can't really be helped. Overall, it's not a bad figure. It's not a great figure. It's it represents Becky Lynch at a particular time in her career, and that's what figures are supposed to do. If you enjoyed this video, please do check out the NWOpening playlist. Do like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.